ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Playtech TV. My name is Kevin, and today we're going to be talking about the Logitech MX Master wireless mouse. Now this thing has been getting a lot of attention, and for good reason, so let's jump into those specs. So sensor-wise, it's got a dark field laser sensor, 1600 DPI maximum. Battery life-wise, it's got a non-removable 500 mAh battery with up to 40 days of battery life. From my testing, it did really well. It's just amazing how long the battery goes for in this guy. It connects via a USB receiver, kind of the traditional way, or via Bluetooth. It has a mouse weight of 145 grams, which is not too bad considering this is a wireless mouse. And warranty-wise, this is coming with a 1-year warranty. First, let's talk about the looks. So this thing looks really sleek and nice. The two-tone just sets it off really nicely. It's quite pointed at the front too, which gives it a more aggressive look, but it's also quite flowing, especially underneath, so that looks really nice too. It's got a lot of functionality, but it doesn't come off as really gimmicky. It flows into the design really well, and I really like that too. Now comfort-wise, as you can tell by the design, it's very ergonomically designed, so that means it'll feel really good in the hand, especially over extended use time. It just feels really good. Your hand never gets sore or anything like that. It should suit all hand sizes really well. I mean, I have quite large hands and it suited me perfect, but other people with small hands have told me it fitted their hands really well too, so I think it'll go with all hand sizes. And the sides feel really comfortable too. They suck in nicely and you don't feel any strain. It just feels very comfortable in the hand. Even if you have bad wrists like me, it still felt really good, and I didn't feel any strain or anything like that. So very ergonomical, very nice in terms of comfort. Now moving on to the sensor. So it features a laser sensor, which is good because it'll work on pretty much any surface. So that's a good point of laser sensors. However, a 1600 max DPI is going to be a little bit low for some people out there. This isn't primarily designed as a gaming mouse, however, but people using high resolution displays, say big 4K displays or multi-monitor setups, might still find that the 1600 DPI isn't quite enough to get their mouse cursor moving along the screen at the speed they really want. Aside from that though, it was really solid. It was very accurate to use. I didn't have any complaints. I wasn't missing anything, and as far as tracking goes, it was absolutely perfect. So it still does a really good job, and being wireless as well, it really surprised me with how good it was. Now the buttons and the scroll wheel. So the right and left click buttons have good travel time and a pretty good response for the most part. I didn't have any complaints. I wasn't misclicking anything or having any trouble when I was using it, so that's always a good sign. However, the scroll wheel is really strange on this guy. It has the smart shift technology, which kind of lets you control how much ratcheting there is before it goes into like a free spin mode, but it just comes off as really odd, and yeah, I just didn't like it. The smooth scroll as well felt kind of strange, and I wasn't much of a fan of it, so I just disabled both of them. But with them disabled, it's still really nice, and you can hit the button behind the mouse scroll wheel, and that allows you to switch between ratcheting and just the free spin. So that means if you're going to scroll down a big lot of pages or like a PDF or something, you can just put it in free spin mode, and it can spin all the way down till you find what you want. So that's quite good as well. The forward and back buttons are a little bit strange because they're really small and they're really far back, so they can be quite hard to hit if you have larger hands like me. Aside from that though, they work very well and they do exactly what they're supposed to. And it also has a side scroll wheel, which is probably going to be more useful for people using productivity type stuff, and then it'll be quite good. In day-to-day usage, you don't really need it that much. But it's still quite nice to have there, and it also works really well. It also has a gesture button down where your thumb would sit. It feels a little bit strange to use, and I don't know, I'm not really the biggest fan of it, but maybe if you use this mouse a lot, you'd probably get used to using it and it might feel a bit easier. Now if we look over to the bottom, you'll see there is a button on the base here that says 1, 2, 3. Now what that does is allow multiple pairings with this mouse, so via Bluetooth obviously, unless you have the USB receiver in one of them. And that means you could be using this for, say, your desktop PC, and then just switch it over, hit 2, and then if you had your laptop set up beside it, you could allow it to scroll on that, or if you had a media center set up or anything like that. It's just really nice. It allows you quick, easy switching between everything, and I really like that implementation. Let's talk about the software. So if I had to sum it up, I'd say it's simple but clean. It's very easy to use, it looks really nice, and what's even better is when you first plug all the mouse in, it pops up straight away, and so you don't need to go around lots of websites trying to find out where to download it from. So that's really nice. It's very basic in terms of setting up the buttons. I suggest setting up the gesture button to something actually useful, so that's quite easy to do. And the other menu just allows you to set up all your pointer speed, so I had it maxed out. It also allows you to set up the smart shift however you want it to be if you really actually want to use it. And of course the smooth scrolling and all the other stuff. So it lets you set it up really nicely. It's quite basic, but it does what it needs to do, and I quite like that. Better than being much too complicated, that's for sure. Now if you want to charge it, it just charges via USB in the front there. Now the charging is super fast. This is one of the main issues I had when I reviewed the SteelSeries Sensei wireless, was that the charging times were just a bit too long for me. I didn't really like it in that sense. Where this guy charges extremely fast. So 4 minutes of charge will give you 1 whole day of use. So if you just need to get by, that's all you're going to need to do. And you can just plug the USB in and just use it like a normal cord if you really have to. So that's quite good as well. That brings us now to the conclusion. So looks-wise, it's really sleek. It looks really good. I really like it in terms of looks. Comfort-wise, it does an excellent job. My hand didn't feel any strain or anything like that, so really good there. Sensor-wise, it does a fairly good job for the most part. As I said before, the low DPI sensor will be an issue for some people using high-resolution displays or multiple displays or both, and it's a laser sensor as well, which some people might have an issue with. Buttons wise, it did really good. They're all very good, especially the right and left click were very responsive, really tactile. I really quite liked them. However, the scroll wheel, while with everything disabled, works really well. With the smart shift, it just didn't feel that good. I didn't like that at all. It wasn't my cup of tea. And the forward and back buttons are just a bit too far back for me personally with my hands. Features wise, it does a really good job for a wireless mouse. The charging's really fast. The battery lasts a long time, the software is good to use, and overall I really do like this. Now it's not primarily a gaming mouse, however I was using it for gaming and it was just fine, so you could use it for that and it will do you really well. It's more made for kind of like your power users for productivity use, office use, stuff like that, you know, real premium office use, and for that I think it's absolutely perfect. Now that's going to round out this video. I thank you all for watching. Please subscribe to Playtech TV if you haven't already. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.